I still think that the major barrier to multiplication for most of us is how we view ourselves. The major barrier for most of us is how we view ourselves. As I went around table to table, most of you that I talked to said, well, I don't really bring anything to the team. And I met a few of you just for a few seconds before, and I was able to tell Ed back here what he brings to the team. Ed's a detailed guy. He's a cabinet maker. He's a body guy, so he knows how to finish a job and work hard, and he knows people. He knows how to lead others because he leads others at his job. Like, he brings a lot of skills to the team, right? I think some of us, we see ourselves and we're like, man, I'm just this little flickering flame. Like, if I'd have lit this candle, if I'd have been smart, I'd have brought a match. But you'll hear why I didn't light it in just a second, okay? Is some of us just think, well, man, I'm just kind of this little candle. He's talking about reaching 15 million people. I can't do that. You're right. You can't do that. But are you willing to believe who God says you are? You remember what the most important thing about you is what comes to your mind and your heart when you think about God, and the second most important thing is what comes to your mind and your heart when you think about how he views you. He's gonna outpower your opinion of yourself. We are who you say we are is a song that we sing. I am who you say I am, a worship song that we sing, right? Well, this little candle, not this exact candle, but this thing scares me to no end. I hate candlelight services. I used to work for a church, I kid you not, they did 12 candlelight services because it was like this massive thing, our gift to the community. And I had to work all 12 candlelight services, and it scared me to death because the fall after I interned at Heritage Baptist Church, on Black Friday, I decided I was going to surprise my wife. We were engaged at the time. We had no business having a good honeymoon. I was poor, but I got this loophole at Cedarville University where I ran cross country and track, is one day my student loan got funded, and the next day, Coach turned the paperwork in, and I got a raise in my scholarship. So I went in and cashed that part of my student loan out. I don't recommend this, singles, okay? And I paid for a honeymoon we had no business taking to the Bahamas, and I would do it again, okay? I would do it again. And so I was super pumped. Instead of going to West Virginia, we're going to the Bahamas. Yes, right? And, I mean, we're talking like borrowed house in West Virginia was the budget compared to the Bahamas. And this doctor gave us this home on the beach, a deserted beach, and it had this little apartment in it. And he was like, oh, you guys just sound so cute. We'll give you the whole house. And so he gave us the whole house and rented the whole land, and we walked up and down the beach 4 miles and 4 miles back and saw like one person, and I was so excited to tell Nancy about this honeymoon. So I was a Cedarville University student in Ohio. She was a UVA student. She worked retail to pay through school. So on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, the big shopping day, of course she is working. So I get a key from her roommate, and I sneak down to UVA, and I break into her apartment, and I bring decorations with me, and I bring stuff to make a dinner with me. And the plan was this, what I did was I pulled all of the furniture out of her living room. And I come from Covington. Those of you that know Covington, it's a paper mill town, and I had access to tons of paper, and cardboard galore. And I turned her living room into an ocean beach scene as best I could. Okay, so be with me, ladies. This is like cheesy romantic. All right, go with me, ladies. Remember, on a budget. So I put rows of pillows and rows of like these tubes, cardboard tubes down, and then I put blue cellophane. That's the only thing I bought for this whole experience for the beach. Blue cellophane going over those like waves. Can you see it? All right. And then for the beach, I put brown paper down and crepe paper down and all that. And where the water, and then I made a palm tree and all kinds of things. I brought the table out and I put it right on the beach. All right. And thank you. It goes downhill from here. So I'll take the applause now. All right. So I made Bohemian jerk chicken because it's got to be Bohemian, that's the theme of the night. And the chicken turns out awesome. The meal's ready. And then I hear this knock at the door, and I turn around, and the table's set, and I'm just like, boom, this is like, yes. like it worked. And I always mess it up. And I thought, this is perfect. That was my mistake. And so it's like, I got one more thing to do. Is I'm going to take, they weren't pumpkin shaped, but they were tea-light candles about this size. And I was going to fill some bowls with water and float these tea-light candles where the water met the beach, just to add that little bit of ambiance, right? Lady, are you with me? And so what I did, though, is I just put the candle in the bowl without the water, and then we had an amazing meal. And so I sit down with Nancy, and I say, hey, I snuck in, and I cooked for you to tell you that we're going to the Bahamas on our honeymoon. And I was just like, yes. And so we went to the Bahamas. I told her we were going to the Bahamas, and she's like crying. She's so excited, and it just was awesome. And then I decided, we need some music. And I come from a family that didn't allow dancing, when I was a kid. But my dad read this, it's like freedom just entered my house one day, and dancing was allowed. So I went back to turn some music on to have a dance with my fiance. I don't know if I'm meddling here in Heritage World or not, but I was going to do this. I'm just being honest where the story's going. So I jumped over her couch that I'd pulled into the hallway and turned some music on, and I came back and jumped back over the couch. And when I jumped off the couch onto the floor, I kicked the bowl over that had a candle in it. And what's all over the floor? Paper. So I kick it over, and the paper catches a little bit on fire. And so I'm like, I'll put that out. I'm the man. I'm taking my wife to the Bahamas. I'm the man. So I go to stomp on it, and it just spreads. And I start thinking, this is probably going to leave a hole in the carpet. Dang it. This is bad. And so it's gonna burn. So I'm just like, I'm the man. I'll put this out. So I start trying to stamp it out. Every move I make, the fire just keeps spreading and spreading and spreading. And pretty soon, my wife doesn't think I'm the man. And I start thinking, wow, the couch is on fire. That's going to be a little hard to replace. But I'm going to put this out. So it's only about 20 seconds after I kick the candle over, and my wife goes for the telephone. She's calling the fire department for some reason. I'm like, in my mind, why are you calling the fire department? I'm going to put this out. I'm the man, right? Yeah, thank you. I'm the man. And so I go get a dish of water and try to throw it on the carpet. Anything I did, it just shoo, 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 shoo. And flames are starting to dance around my rib cage at this point. I'm gathering burning material up and trying to carry it outside. I'm burning my arms. Nancy's on the phone with the fire department. I'm actually upset with her. I look back and it's like inferno in there. The sliding glass windows, I kid you not, about 70 or 80 seconds after this fire started, the sliding glass windows go kaboom and just explode. Cold outside, warm inside. You've probably seen Backdraft, and all of a sudden, in come the flames, and everything caught on fire. It was just like, whoa. Walls, curtains, all the furniture, everything, roof, everything is on fire, and I finally realized I'm not the man. So Nancy, literally, she's outside in the hallway. She hasn't known Jesus a long time, so she has a little bit different vocabulary than this pastor's son had at this moment in time. Just to be honest, we can all have grace, right? And she throws the phone back into the fire as we leave. At this point in time, I start getting scared because she lives in an apartment complex and there's other apartments. And this place is, it's engulfed. So we start running around knocking on every door we can find, just seeing who's, and luckily it's Black Friday, so it's vacation time for students, and nobody was home that we thought. So we go around to the front yard, and I don't even know what to pray. I'm just saying over and over again, oh God, oh God, oh God, I need you, God, I need you, prayerfully saying, oh God, I need you, God. And flames are literally 20, 30 feet above the roof of her apartment. And we hear the worst sound. We hear some people out on the balcony yelling and screaming because the fire is just moving in their apartment. You can just watch it. It's just moving towards them. About that time, 7 fire trucks arrive because Nancy called the fire department. And they put the ladder up to get these folks. It was 3 floors up and a retaining wall to the parking lot, so they would have broken themselves bad had they jumped. They get all those people down, and about that time, Nancy's third floor apartment, the whole third floor falls into the second floor. And the second floor burns for a while. They start spraying it with water, and that falls into the first floor. A gentleman with autism, I tell you this not to make fun of him in any way, but just to help you see, is he shows up home from work, and he just starts pacing back and forth, naming all of his belongings that are in his apartment. And I'm just like, oh, wow, what have I done? And so I call my dad, and this is my dad. If you know Howard Merrill, some of you, he was your pastor at one point. My dad's church was like the minor leagues for Heritage. We'd train him up and then send Mike Morricon or whoever to you guys, you know. And so I call my dad, and he's like, well, son, do you have your keys? And I was like, yep. He's like, is your car okay? And I said, yep. And he goes, well, we'll see you in a couple hours, and we can. And that was like the end of the conversation. Like, that's just my dad. And Nancy calls her parents, and of course, they just freak out. Her uncle and aunt show up. Her childhood best friend shows up. Her cousin shows up. I mean, all of these people, and everybody, what's the first question they ask when they get to a fire like that? What happened? Who did this? How did this start? And I got really upset at those questions. Like, I was just like, I did. And about the time her dad gets there, okay, her dad is like, I mean, you want to impress your fiance's dad, right? And her dad gets there, and the fireman is like kind of doing this with the ladder. And this fireman, I hear him go, woo, or something like excited sound like that. And he goes, hey, I got something. And it was a total loss in the whole apartment except for this one corner of the apartment building. And he's like, hey, whose duffel bag is this? The only thing that was saved from the apartment was my duffel bag that I had brought stuff in. And it wasn't even like smoke stained. And so I had to claim it. It's mine. All right. And there's more to this story. Like, I couldn't even, her dad wouldn't even let me ride home with her. She had all of her stuff at this apartment to where she literally had to buy clothes for the next day on the way home from Walmart. I had to go tell her 5 roommates that I had done this the next day at Long John Silver's. Never have a crucial conversation at Long John Silver's, especially about a fire. I tell you that it's fun now, but I tell you that because you will never look at a tea-light candle again the same way. And you might think to yourself, like, man, I don't bring much to the table. I don't have a lot of fire. I'm not like that burning flame for Jesus. God can take you and ignite a fire like you've never seen. And you don't want to, in this case, you want to see it with your life. And I would just ask you to believe that this type of multiplication, the Acts 19:10 type multiplication, is possible not because of who you are. You're missing the point if you feel pressure from multiplication. It's because of who Jesus is.